into The Unexpected Guest. I'm John Clese, and I'm coming to you from high above the shores of Lake Michigan at my apartment on Lakeshore Drive in the great city of Chicago. And today, you have tuned in. We are going to be making meatballs, turkey meatballs, and then we're going to turn that into an open-faced sandwich, all for in and around 300 calories. Those of you that have been watching my videos know that I'm trying to make you some healthy meals that are tasty. For those of you that are watching your calorie count, I myself lost 50 pounds, and I did it by eating 300 calorie meals 5 times 3? 5 times a day for my 1,500 calories. So I'm bringing that to you, and again, so today I'm going to show you one of my secrets, which is the meatballs, because I always have a big bowl of them in the refrigerator. The meatballs that I'm going to make for you today, they're 54 calories a piece and they're 6 grams of protein. And you know when you come back from work and you got to shove something in your mouth, you pop a meatball in your mouth or two. Protein is satisfying, right? Protein and fiber helps fill you up because it takes a little longer to digest. So it's a really good secret for while you're dieting. Oh, but before I get to that, I saw this in the grocery store today. This has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm going to make for you today, but is that the cutest little thing you ever saw? It's a mini pineapple. So, I mean, you know what? You could do a little shot in this instead of, you know, they put the big drinks with the big straws. You can do like a little mini one. Anyway, I put it on this dish, and I thought to myself, oh, if I had a dinner party, I'd stick one of those on everybody's plate. So, anyway, I digress. It has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm going to be talking with you about today. So, all right. Oh, here we go. So the first thing I do is I've got my oven on broiler. I've got the rack, not at the very top, but the second one down. I'm going to put my pans ungreased. Now these are, you're like, wow, you would think I'd have better pans. I do, don't you worry. I have beautiful ones that I bake for cookies, and of course I put the slip pads on. These are well-seasoned pans. This one actually is a little dried out. I think I must have tried to clean it with some cleaner. Silly. This one's much better seasoned. But I use this when I put stuff directly onto the pans. So I'm going to use 2 pans. One's going to go in, like I said, not quite on the top, and the other one's going to go in the bottom. And I heat that up while I start to make the meatballs. So, first thing I do is I'm going to use ground turkey. This is this Jenny O brand. I love it. I'm going to shamelessly promote it because I think it's really good. I mean, they definitely have taken off with all the turkey stuff. This is 93.7. So what that means is it's 7% lean, so it's only got 7% fat in it. I think there's a 90-10, and a lot of times you'll see an 85-15. That's what that means. But I use the 93.7 for this, which is very good. But I also wanted to let you know that you can also use grass-fed ground beef or bison. And I'm not trying to get all fancy on you, but let's face it, if it's grain-fed beef, it's got antibiotics in it. And from what I understand talking to people, and now that I'm here in the Midwest, is that cattle, for the most part, like to eat grass. So when they eat grain and they're fed grain for that taste that Americans like, they have to inject them with antibiotics and other things because they don't stay that healthy. So bison is naturally grass-fed. It roams. This is actually from High Plains Bison, which I believe this is up in North Dakota. That is where most of this stuff is coming from. Oh, Denver, Colorado. I take that back. This is from Denver, Colorado. Grass-fed, but you can also get grass-fed beef. And the reason that I bring this up, now this is 90-10, but I have seen 95-5. So if you really like the taste of ground beef and you don't want ground chicken or turkey, 95-5 or 90-10 grass-fed ground beef or bison is no different than eating the turkey. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that because I actually like the taste of bison. I think it's really, really good. But they're doing that a lot with the cattle now because they're certainly, if you're a cattle rancher, you don't want to lose out to the buffalo. So, all right, this is a super simple recipe. I'm starting with, this is 2 packages. Each of these are 20 ounces of ground turkey. And I'm just going to put that into a bowl over here. Be very careful when you're dealing with raw turkey and chicken, obviously. You're going to want to wash your hands. Be really careful. So as you can see, I'm trying not to really touch anything yet. I don't want to run to the sink at the moment. All right, so I've got my turkey in here. Okay, always, always, always wash your hands crazily when you're dealing with this kind of stuff. And I'm also going to get, these are these sushi paddles, which I can't remember if I got this in a kit or just got it at the store, but this is really great for stirring if you don't want to just shove your hands in there. Oh, let me get some pepper too. All right, so I know I'm Italian and I love to make meatballs and I love to saute the onions and put onions and all sorts of stuff and making meatballs and fry them up in the olive oil. But you know what? We're going to broil these to keep down the calories. And we're eating during the week so that we can sort of be healthy and maintain our weight. And I'll get into, there's going to be plenty of videos for the cheat days where I make you cakes and pies and things like that. But this is just something easy while we're working. So here's what I discovered. Fonterra Grill salsa, and I'm sure you have your own favorite salsa. This is hot chipotle salsa. Rick Bayless, great restaurateur here in Chicago. He's an amazing American chef who cooks Mexican. Fonterra Grill and Topolobampo are great restaurants that he has here in Chicago. Well, now they have a line of salsa they've had out for a couple of years. So I just take a whole jar of this, if I get it open, and I just put it into the turkey. So again, I've got 40 ounces, or basically 2.5 pounds of ground turkey. Save this jar. I'm like my grandmother now. I take peel the label off, I soak it, and then have a little jar, right? It's the new America. Wait, don't be wasteful. So I'm gonna put a little bit of pepper. It doesn't really need it. And now, I will say the one thing about the Fonterra salsa is that jar has a bunch of salt. I'm gonna grab it again so I can read it. And Rick, if you're listening, you gotta take the salt down on this. The salt in the jar for a serving, and a serving is 2 tablespoons. Oh, actually, that's not bad. It's 140 milligrams, so that's not terrible. All we're gonna do is mix this in, and in 2 seconds, as much as I always think I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna shove my hands in here because I just can't stop myself. Now, if this is not hot enough for you, my niece Maria, she loves that Shiraka sauce, and I'm gonna grab it from the refrigerator. Put a little bit of more hot sauce in there. It doesn't add that many calories. We'll just pretend it adds nothing. But remember, spicy food helps to rev up your metabolism. So one of my secrets for losing weight and making things tasty is to put hot sauce on it and salsa. Salsa really becomes your best friend. So all we're gonna do is mix this in, and in 2 seconds, I'm going to. So, all right, there's no other way to do this. Sometimes you just have to get in there. Oh, it's cold. Ooh, yes. Ugh. There's nothing like sticking your hands into cold. You know, it's like when you go into the snow. Ow. Anyway, get used to it. When you're cooking, you should learn to get heat mostly. Get used to having your hands touch hot stuff. Oh, I think my hands are numb. Hold on, I gotta rest. Woo. It's like, what's that thing when it goes to your head? When you drink a Slurpee really fast. A freeze thing. What's it called? A brain freeze. This is like a hand freeze. All right. So all I'm going to do, now, I will say this. We're not going to do it today. Lots of times I make this the night before. My glasses are slipping off. And I stick it in the refrigerator. And I let all of the meat get seasoned up during the night and absorb all that flavor. But we're not going to do that for you today. But if you want to, you can certainly do this the night before. Put a cover on it, cellophane, whatever. And let all those flavors go in. I used to add egg whites to this as well, but it comes out of the meatball. I don't mind it, but my friends didn't really like it too much. I liked all the gummy stuff because to me it was just protein. But keep it really simple. The one other thing you can do to this, I'm not going to do it today, it does add more calories, is sometimes I put a tablespoon of sesame oil in this, and that really adds a really great flavor to the meatball, but not today because I want to keep them at 54 calories. So I'm going to wash my hands. All right, now that's all done. So I've got my pans heating up. I'm done with the meat, and they're going to be hot. So I have to remember to take it out of the oven with a pot holder. And actually, I need to get a rake. Hold on 1 second. But I don't want to put those on my new cutting board. So. All right, so here's the top pan, and it's going to be hot. I think you can probably see a little bit of smoke coming off of that. So I like to put my meatballs onto already a hot pan so that because we're only broiling the top, so I like to brown the bottom to get it a little bit crispy if it can. I put a little bit of olive oil. You can certainly do the spray if you want to, but you know what? That spray, when I use it, I feel like I spray everything. The spray gets all over my counters. So I'm just going to rub this with a little bit of olive oil. You could do this beforehand if you wanted to, but I live in a high-rise, and I don't want to smoke it out. But certainly if it was, you live in a house and you can have all the windows open, go for it. Who cares, right? All right. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you. I want to show you something that will also help you out what you need to get. This is a scale. This is a good grip scale, and it's really important that you measure stuff out when you're trying to like do chicken or whatever, and you want to eat 4 ounces of something or 6 ounces. Get yourself a scale. So I wanted to weigh these meatballs because I can't remember exactly what they are. So what I do is I put a little bowly thing on it. I'm going to zero this out, and this is a scooper. I think these make 1.5 ounce meatballs, which is what we want. And these are really great. Get yourself a scooper. So I put that in, and it's 1.5 ounces. Okay, ta-da, right, scored. Of course, I didn't leave that up to chance before you came on silly. Oh, I guess I could have put it in the pan. Oh, well, I didn't. All right. Anyway, get yourself a scale. It will help you measure. Try not to touch everything. Woo! Okay. Now we're just gonna grab the meatball again that I just put away. Now we're just gonna fill this pan up. Now it's not gonna be sizzling. It's not like it's that hot. I actually have an idea for a meatball pan for people that make meatballs like this. I think that we need a cast iron sheet pan that has like a half indentation of it, and then it becomes round so that when you put the bottom in, the bottom stays round, the top stays round. Do you think that's a great idea? I do, anyway. So if anybody wants to put that together, what's that new website, Spark? Is that Spark, I think where you come up with your ideas and you, the message goes out and you get lots of investors. It's actually pretty cool. And these are gonna go in the oven under the broiler for 15 to 20 minutes. Now, everybody's oven is different. My oven is almost exactly 18 because I make these all the time. But your oven may be a little bit longer, it may be a little bit less. But basically, when they start to get a little bit brown, maybe even slightly charcoaly on the top, you know what meatballs look like when they're done in olive oil in a pan. Well, that's when, oops, that's a big one. That's when they will be done. I think you get 40 meatballs, or you get 35 to whatever it is from this with this 1.5 ounce scoop. It ends up being 54 calories. So, shave it off a little bit and you'll be fine with that. All right, I am going to use this towel with my turkey, and then I'm going to make sure that I chuck this to the side and not use this again or stick it on my table. So, all right, got to remember this is hot. So now I'm going to put this into the broiler. So there we go. We got all of our meatballs, woo, starting to slide into the broiler. Woo, little facial. I'm going to put my timer on 20 minutes. And there we go. Okay, so now, those of you that know, I love for you to be cooking with me, so I'm creating these shows to, hopefully you like me in your kitchen and you want me to be company in your kitchen. So if you are making these with me at home, what I want you to now is pause the tape, and I want you to come back in about 15 or 20 minutes, or when your meatballs are ready, click the tape back on and we'll finish up from there. We'll be right back.